There are two ways of dealing with someone who is not willing to accept your independent thought process. You either totally dissociate from them or you engage with them on profitable grounds and leave controversies aside. India did the latter. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Atul Mishra and I'm here to tell you what an independent foreign policy looks like. But before we begin the video, let me flaunt my t-shirt. It says Akash Gangayam Sarvasreshta Janaka, which in English means the best father in the galaxy. This t-shirt is a dedication to all the dads in the world whose role in bringing up of a child is vastly underrated. This t-shirt is from TFI's own factory. If you want this one or other t-shirts like this, please visit tfi-store.com. This is a valuable source of revenue for us, which keeps us funded to create more content like this. Now, on to the video. Let's begin. The emotions on the Ukraine-Russia crisis are so high that it ends up dominating almost every diplomatic forum. Why would the G7 be left behind? In fact, they are one of the biggest catalysts of the war going on. In their virtue signaling stunts, they recently tried to rake in India's support as well, but India categorically rejected their demands. Recently, despite being a guest, India dominated the headlines related to the G7 forum. Biden meekly trying to quote PM Modi was a sign of how India was more than just a guest at the forum. But as usual, the grouping of coveted 7 countries tried to use the forum to propagate their own political agendas. Apparently, Ukraine, based on whose misery they are trying to gain humanitarian sympathy, was also a part of the summit. These countries vowed to support Ukraine and released a special statement with that effect, promoting more of their war machinery. The statement read, "We will continue to provide financial, humanitarian, military and diplomatic support and stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes. In the garb of military support, these countries will be exporting their defense equipment and making money out of human flesh." In their nefarious agendas, they try to rope in 5 guest nations as well, including India, while Argentina and Indonesia caved in. India, along with South Africa and Senegal, refused to participate. According to a report by Money Control, Indian authorities explicitly stated that no one from India participated in drafting the combined statement. India does not condone or endorse any of those recommendations, announcements, or statements. Basically, India continued with its legacy of maintaining overt neutrality over the Ukraine-Russia crisis. In fact, India has been calling for a peaceful and diplomatic solution to the problem. Even during his individual meetings with the leaders, including those of the EU, Canada, Indonesia, and South Africa, Prime Minister Modi reiterated that talks are the only way out. Ukraine was a key point in most of the bilateral talks. Ever since the war kicked off, the US has been desperate to take India on its side. That's because US officials know that their country does not hold as much clout as it used to. Already in decline, COVID-19 struck a significant blow to its legitimacy in the developing as well as the developed world. US's refusal to provide humanitarian and medical aid to the world made everyone realize that it is not an ally to be entrusted with anything this important. And then Biden left Afghanistan in tatters, throwing away the last ounce of credibility the US was left with. After the perceived decline, the US and its NATO allies got jittery. By stoking the Ukraine-Russia crisis without taking preventive measures, they wanted to ensure that their war-mongering machine keeps running for a few more decades. But things rarely turn out as they plan. On one hand, despite severe sanctions, Putin provided no respite, while on the diplomatic front, they failed to take India on board. India's abstention in United Nations voting on Russia turned out to be a game changer. India was subtly pressurized by these bullies, and the US, in fact, tried to do it overtly by lecturing India on religious issues. But India did not listen, and it maintained its stance on the issue. To prepare itself for any kind of possible sanctions, India quickly diversified its trade portfolio, which includes the export of wheat to the needy world and import of oil from Russia. This further irked these countries, and they tried to court India through soft measures. In fact, it must have been one of the foremost motives behind inviting India to the G7 summit. India holds not just strategic but moral authority as well. If India had accepted their demand, the credibility of illogical, ill-informed and unnecessary sanctions would have reached an entirely new level formerly unknown. India did well to avoid any kind of stupidity and will keep doing it in the future.